let's start with tell me about the Kauffman Foundation, your work. Tell me a little bit about that.
So Kauffman Scholars was started in 2003. It's a scholarship program that serves students in both the Kansas City, Kansas and the Kansas City, Missouri school districts. And so students come in as 7th graders. And through the process, middle school, high school, just helping provide support, mentorship, information about college and, getting them prepared to transition after high school. And so then the program really that monetary piece kicks in once they go to college.
Okay.
They get 5 years on the scholarship and they typically go to schools in the Kansas and Missouri region. And then once they graduate, we then support them.
He's got to have all the he's got to have a spotlight somewhere.
But yeah, once they graduate, we still, support them as young professionals and do some professional development and connect them with folks in the community and with each other. And as alums, we'll, connect them back to scholars in the program, kind of provide some mentorship opportunities. So yeah, the program inducted 8 cohorts of students. So between 2003 and 2012, I believe, they inducted a cohort of students. So they would come in as 7th graders, transition, and they brought in another group. So they did this 8 times. And so
starting at 7th grade.
So 7th grade. So a group would come in, and then once they transitioned to the 8th grade, another group of 7th graders came in.
Gotcha.
And then as people kind of trickled, through middle school into high school, the last group that they brought in was cohort 8 in 2012. Those students are now in their 5th year of college.
Wow.
And so our program is actually getting ready to sunset. So the goal is, the commitment was to, see these students through to college and through college, and getting ready to meet that 19-year commitment that started in 2003 this next academic year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many students altogether?
So the goal is to get to 800 total college graduates or students that have received some type of post-secondary credential.
Okay.
So we're getting there with this last group of students, and technically we went to the board and we're given an extension. So the students actually will get 1 more year past next summer due to COVID. A lot of the students with the transition in March of 2020 having to move off campus or drop their classes, and just with everything that happened, we thought they weren't given a really fair shot last year. So the board said we're going to extend for 1 more year. Okay. And so any student who needs that additional year to finish up their credential will still receive support from the scholarship program.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many? So I assume there's some college partnerships there, or the students free to, or
yeah.
To, I mean, they're free to register or apply wherever, but I'm sure you have some partnerships.
Yes, that's it initially. So with the first couple of classes, I think the students were able to go anywhere. And then when they found out that the students weren't making maybe the most educated choices in terms of where they were attending college, we decided to start this partnership with institutions in both Kansas and Missouri. Okay. And so just saying okay, we're going to be sending our students to you, and knowing some of the institutions, depending on where they went, maybe had a multicultural student center that we could partner with to say, hey, can we kind of funnel our students through you guys for additional support? Or was there any type of first year program or class that your institution offers that are, we can, make sure we connect the scholars to once they enroll and they're on your campus. A couple institutions, because we had so many scholars attend, we had graduate assistants that we had hired on that were at those schools to
Oh,
kind of
cool.
serve as additional support for those students. So yeah, we had 23 partnerships with different colleges and universities, both 2-year schools and 4-year schools in the region.
What was the purpose behind it for the foundation? What was like, I'm just curious to know, what was the story? What was the aha for someone to say, we should do this, and why?
Yeah. So from my understanding of the history, prior to Kauffman Scholars, there was a scholarship program called Project Choice back in the 90s. And so Mr. Kauffman had started that program, and it was, essentially a program to, help students graduate, make sure they graduate from high school, and help support them in college. Learning lessons from that program, Kauffman Scholars was born.
Okay.
And so how can we provide even more intentional support, more kind of well-rounded support for students in the Kansas City region, and make sure that we're helping prep them for college, like start planting that seed early on, and then providing academic support, ACT prep, taking them to the actual campuses for visits so they could actually see the college campuses and get a better idea of where they wanted to go to school. And so, I mean, it's unlike any other program I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
The fact that some of the research I've done on scholarship programs, typically it's either a program that helps students get to college or it's a program that helps students get through college. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Whereas we're both.
Yeah, it's full cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're with the student from the 7th grade all the way through college graduation. And through that process, you have different types of coaches, like life coaches, and then there's that academic, support, tutoring, like the ACT prep. They have someone their senior year just focused on college prep, helping them fill out college applications, completing financial aid, and then a summer bridge program that helps prepare them that summer between high school graduation and college. And then once they're in college, they have a coach that is visiting them if the school is, within driving distance, actually driving to the college campus and doing, check-ins just to see, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that physical connection, and making sure, like, hey, I'm here if you need anything. I just want to make sure you're doing well and connected to resources. And then I think initially they didn't think about it. They were like, we just want to make sure we, help these students get post-secondary credentials. And they're like, we have all these alumni now. And so, several years ago, they started an alumni association to support the alumni once they were out, in the workforce, and providing, professional development opportunities.
That's wonderful.
And, connecting them to people in Kansas City. So, yeah, it's been a program that has, adjusted, and it's been flexible and fluid, because it's like, okay, this is what we initially think, will be beneficial for students. And then even as the program was progressing, they learned lessons and shifted and pivoted, and all in the interest of making sure that this was what was best for the scholars in the program.
Yeah. And I like that, unlike so many of those programs, y'all extended it into the career path.
Yeah.
You extended it into their emerging professional development and everything within, whatever decided they take as far as career.
Yeah, it was kind of like a supplemental piece to, because we know when they're in college they have access to those supports. There's career centers on campuses, and they provide, there's programs and different things they can get involved in that have those types of, career-based activities. And so what we were providing was just something, I think, supplemental to that. So when they were home on their breaks, providing career fair opportunities with organizations and companies in Kansas City, and various other workshops when they're home from college. And then of course when we still had middle school and high school students doing those workshops on resume building and cover letter writing, interviewing, stuff like that. So just providing just kind of in addition to what your high school provides or what your college is providing, just a little added piece to
full scale.